Hey guys, and welcome to another installment of the HAWX Space Program. And right here, I'm actually going to show you a live launch of my Minmus trip I'm going to take here. And, manned Minmus trip. And the reason it's live is because I wanted to show off some of the sounds that, I added some mods since the last time I recorded, or last time I got all this stuff. And I really wanted to show you guys that. And they're really neat, and you'll see here in just a minute when I go supersonic what I mean. But I really wanted to get to the moon and start exploring the moon before I started going down to Minmus, but I was running into an issue with science. I just did not have the parts I needed to land on the moon, and there you go, you can hear some of the supersonic effects here, and kind of get this loud supersonic sound, and it'll slowly fade down as you go over the speed of sound, as there's like a cone of air, shock wave, or whatever you want to call it. I guess it'd be a shock wave that actually goes down from the tip of the aircraft or rocket here all the way down to the bottom. And if you're not within this cone, you don't really hear anything because you're going faster than the speed of sound. You're going faster than the sound can get to you. Now, if you're standing still and the rocket would go past you, you'd see the rocket go past you, and then you'd hear it. I've actually experienced that with some aircraft that I've watched in some air shows. You'll see it fly past you, and then you get hit with the sound, and it's really quite neat. But anyways, back to what I was talking about before. Yeah, I tried several times to get these probes to the moon, and I can't tell you how many issues I had. First, it was just stupid mistakes, and then once I was able to actually get there, I started having issues with, like, once I got there and it was a lunar eclipse, so I got no sun and I ran out of energy, and I couldn't do anything. Or with some of the other issues. I think there's some warp issues. I think eventually I was able to get into a circular orbit around the moon so I could land, and I went to land and I didn't have enough power, didn't have enough rocket. It was just a total mess. And so I decided, you know what? Let's throw another manned mission up to Minmus, and you'll probably hear in just a second what it sounds like when you actually get up into space. It's kind of neat, but it kind of fades out until it's just this really low, really low rumble, soft and quiet rumble. But from here, I'll be going 4 times speed here because I don't think you really want to see me do all the maneuvering and all of that in full live time. And so we set up our circularization uh, node right there. And I think I've ranted on this before, but anyone that wants to say, "Oh, MacJeb is cheap," well, number one, I probably have a bit of OCD, so I like my nodes to be perfect, and for all of this, it's really quite a pain to set up. It takes way too much time. I'm spending a lot of time designing the rockets before I even send them up. I don't need to spend another couple hours trying to actually get them up. And here, you just saw, I was trying to figure out the best way to get out there. Um, I first set a Hoffman transfer to Minmus, but it really didn't seem to want to work out correctly. And if I would have done it right, I probably could have set it up right. But what I decided there is to set Minmus as my target, and then change my plane to match it, so I'm in a orbit that keeps up with the same plane as Minmus, and then I set my Hoffman transfer, and then set it a few notches. I want to say forward. It might be a bit. It might be back actually. So I don't run right into Minmus. I actually get a circularization around Minmus, and so it's a typical moon mission. Um, or Minmus mission, I guess it'd technically be, even though it is a moon. Um, and so, and if you notice here, it actually is the same rocket I used for my manned mission to the moon with a few variations. I think I changed the parachutes for the real shoots mod, and I gave myself a bigger fuel tank just in case. Um, but, I mean, it's pretty much the same craft. I don't remember what I was doing here. Oh, that's right. I was told that life support for something was not running out or depleted. I'm like, well, where's this depleted life support? I have like 11 days of life support on this thing. Right here, you see, I think. I can't read it right there, but something is depleted. I'm going, what the heck is going on? I have life support on this thing. And then I realize, oh, right. I have Bill or Bob sitting here um, in this aircraft. So I fix that and get back to my Minmus craft here. I think this is the Moo 2, I want to say. So we finished warping out. And this actually went a lot smoother than my moon trip on for many different reasons, um, which was pretty nice. It's really nice when you can have a pretty straightforward mission. And just so you guys know, I do know how to set up maneuver nodes. Right there, I set up one manually. I did not use McJeb. I used McJeb to burn the maneuver node, but here I start getting high altitude science from Minmus and all that fun stuff. But like I said, it was pretty much a typical science collecting mission, very much like the moon mission, only even smoother. And so, right here, I was trying to get low altitude science, but for some reason, it didn't want to let me have that. Here, I'm taking all this science back up into the capsule because I really did not want to try to lug that thing back down in the atmosphere like I had with my moon mission. So here I'm resetting, or not really resetting, but I'm lowering my altitude so I can try to get those lower atmosphere, not really atmosphere, lower altitude. Altitude's the word I'm looking for. Lower altitude science things, and I discover I'm still not low enough, and I have to burn even more. But I mean, that's why I brought the extra tank of fuel there. Set another. That alarm clock is a really nice feature. Because I can't tell you how many nodes I've missed when I have not set that. I think finally here I get some low altitude. And I run all my goo experiments and my bays. And right here, I'm saying right here a lot, aren't I? But right here, and there I go saying it again. I'm just doing EVA reports and storing all the science. Now, what I did not realize until later is that what you can do is take crew reports and go on EVA, take them out of the craft, and then store them again. I did not realize you could do that because you can get crew reports over a certain biome, and I was only able to get one. But oh well, I know that for future missions, I'm planning to go back out to Minmus anyway. But just for a little role play here, um, what I've decided here is these guys started looking at Minmus and going, you know what? This is. It doesn't take a whole lot more Delta V to get out to Minmus. So maybe they should start exploring this area as a good place to, I don't know, set up a base, set up a fueling station for more missions outside of the planet. And we'll actually get to that later on in the episode. Teaser. I like giving teasers, don't I? But Here, they just want to learn more about the surface. So, as I think it's Bill. Is it Bob? It's Bob. Okay, Bill and then Bob. Yeah, it makes sense. But they really Bob wants to take a lot of EVA reports, make sure he knows what the surface is like, and so he stays and orbits this strange green moon they've had orbiting around them for a while, and just to see where would be a good place to land, like a base on the surface to fuel, and then a base in orbit to collect to meet up with other spacecraft. I keep wanting to say aircraft, but spacecraft, and so we really make sure that we get as much science as we can get from just the orbit, just orbiting Minmus. So Bob decides he's had enough with Minmus. It's making him hungry, as I guess all Kerbals think that Minmus looks like some ice cream dessert thing. So he makes his burn back to Kerbin, bringing his precious science back home, and this actually goes pretty smoothly, unlike the flight to and from the moon, like I've said several times now. And he tries to do some burns to make sure that he doesn't burn up in the atmosphere and end up like a pancake on the surface. He's hungry, but he doesn't want to become food, and so he tries to flatten out the re-entry a little bit, or I guess I don't know, flatten out be the right word. Make it so it's less ballistic and try to arc it in more so he has more time to slow down, because he doesn't want to be turned into goo while he's trying to re-enter the Kerbin's atmosphere here. And I wait to ditch. I honestly can't see where I ditched it right there. And I end up losing my parachutes there. But I wait to ditch the compartment because that had all my batteries on it. And I ditch it and I lose my parachutes. Luckily, with this real shoot mod, that nose cone parachute is actually a lot better. And we only have the capsule here, so we don't really have to worry too much about bringing some big, heavy science containers home. Thank goodness I learned that you can actually put your science experiments into the capsule. And so it's time to spend all that lovely science we got. It's like Christmas to the Kerbals. And I decide I'm going to get these better solar panels. And I actually got it before I finished that level of tech, but I decided, you know what? I'll get those because I still did end up unlocking them all in this run. So we'll look over that for right now. So with those new parts that the scientists have managed to get, they've managed to make this strange looking rocket, which is another mission to Minmus. Only this one is unmanned, and it's part one of several different launches. This is the new 2 Trust, which is the first part of the new 2 program. Um, and I was really quite impressed with this thing, and you'll see it once the fairing comes off here. I spent probably several hours designing this thing, which I guess probably isn't uncommon for some of you guys, but for me, I put a lot of work into this, and I was really quite proud of it, even though it did cause me some lag. And you also notice I'm using a 2.5 meter stage. Um, for most of this rocket, because that's what really fit on this thing. If I would have put the 1.25 uh, rockets on this, it would have just looked weird. And now is probably a pretty good time to go to the vehicle assembly building and look at what exactly this thing looks like when it was being put together. Alright, so here's the core of the new 2 program here. Um, I'm starting to use the 2.5 parts. Unfortunately, I don't have really good 2.5 engines yet, so I couldn't use any of those. But we have some boosters here with gyroscopes and those cones and all that fancy stuff. And then I put a bunch of these little guys, I think 10 of them right down here. Um, and that will fall away. And we have this little section right here. Remove the fairing there. And we have this guy right here. Of course, this thing right here extends out, as I'm sure you'll see eventually. And then we have our solar panels with on hinges right here. Let me pull this away, because this will eventually undock once we get to Minmus. And we have our solar panels with our hinges right here. And then we have radiators. Oops. Yeah. Batteries. And then we have our little RCS jets on pistons, telescopic things, because we want to get them away from the solar panels and the rest of the craft. We have a map. Is it map? It's not map set, is it? Let me find it really quick if I can. Probably in this tab. And I'm blind apparently. That's the map track, but I don't want the map track. Oh, right here. Scan radar altimetry sensor. But yeah, it makes a map of, we'll have this and make a map of Minmus. And that's on another telescopic piston you'll see. You have RCS tanks around the whole thing, so we can dock up if we need to, refill the other guys, all that fun stuff. We have our long-range dish to talk back to Kerbin. We have our short-range Omni antenna for orbital maneuvers, and communicating with any of the land-based craft that we'll have. But that's about it. We have a gyroscope thing, and then our computer right there. I think that's about it. But yeah, and then of course all the landing craft will dock up right here, as you'll see later. Alright, so we join back up with our new two truss as we're ditching the first stage and burning to insert ourselves into about a 100-kilometer orbit there. And you'll see right here we're actually going to push that telescopic piston out, so our little lander craft, which we'll see next episode, will dock up. But unfortunately for right now, guys, it looks like as we deploy all the little cool things on this thing that we're gonna have to wrap up this episode, because I don't think I can fit anything more in this and make it timely enough. So until next time, guys, I will see you guys later.